Since local carriers suspended flights to Caye Caulker at the beginning of October, much has been said about the proposed aerodrome to be constructed on the island. In fact, the People's United Party has been rather vocal in suggesting that the project may very well be just another hustle for government cronies. Criticism notwithstanding, the Belize Airports Authority is tonight in a pickle since the Social Security Board, its primary funding agency, has essentially turned down a loan application for $3.5 million. The fate of the initiative now hangs in the balance.
Currently, the discussions with S.S.B are still ongoing. They have a meeting on Thursday coming, their board, and as is known, there was correspondence sent to us that we needed to respond to certain conditions that they put, and we have done so for the record. So we just await their decision, final decision on our application for Caye Caulker to be able to say that we have the financing from S.S.B to be able to complete the work.
That, however, depends on whether a revised application will be approved by the statutory body in the days ahead. According to Manuel Heredia Jr., Minister of Tourism and Civil Aviation, the project will be completed one way or another.
My final word is it will be a 3.5 million, either Social Security or somebody else. We have a backup plan, two backup plans should in case.
But it will, SSB does not approve.
It will be a $3.5 million in hot mix airport, wider, and then lights also on the runway.
While government and B.A.A. are prepared to forge ahead with the plan to reconstruct an aerodrome that conforms to International Civil Aviation Organization standards, the scale of the undertaking will be reduced considerably. The initial projection for the cost of the project was set at $7 million Belize dollars.
A lot has been said about that. Initially, as I told you, the board decided that we wanted a $7 million project inclusive of a terminal, fencing, elevated runway, widened runway markings, lighting for nighttime capacities, flight capacity. And that was the ideal project that we wanted. As I explained to you, the B.A.A. does not have terminal buildings at its aerodromes, and that's something that the board felt that they wanted to pursue. Our internal cash flow analysis done by a CPA, Certified Public Accountant, and external auditor confirmed that from our perspective that we could make the payments. Hence we submitted that to the S.S.B.
That submission, nonetheless, was not greeted with full endorsement by S.S.B's Board of Directors, prompting the Airports Authority to revise its proposal by reducing the scope of the project significantly.
Eventually, we submitted, made an application for the 5.5 million for the runway works. Most importantly, again, there was a discussion centering on that to the degree that the B.A.A. listened to what S.S.B had to say. We discussed it at the board level. And the last application that went to the S.S.B for a very, very solid project still, seeking to be ICAO compliant, still hot mix, elevated runway, shoreline protection, lighting included, except for the fencing and the terminal. So we ended up at 3.5 with the B.A. committing some of its funds. And we felt that that was a solid application. As you know, the investment committee okayed it and sent it to the board, but the board had itself some conditions that they wanted for us to look at, and like I told you, we've sent that response, and so we await their formal and final decision on Thursday.
Work on the new aerodrome continues to be deferred until the B.A.A. is able to secure funding for the project. According to General Manager Nick Ruiz, the timeline for completion once funding has been approved will be 6 to 8 months. Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.